What's going on, guys? Today we've got another recap for you for the NBA playoffs for May 27th. There are three games that we're going to be covering today. We're not really going to talk too much about the, you know, Sixers destroying the Wizards, but there were two really good games on last night. Let's start with the Knicks beating the Hawks 101-92, led by Derrick Rose, looking like MVP Rose. And I think the big storyline here is that they rallied back in the third quarter. They were down 15 late in the second, and suddenly they took a 10-point lead early in the fourth quarter while Trae Young was on the bench. This was honestly a really good back and forth game where Trey leads them back to tie the game 91-91 with 5 minutes left. And then deep in this game, Derrick Rose had a floater followed by Reggie Bullock hitting a timely three ball, and they never let go of that lead. And on the other end, the Hawks really couldn't buy a bucket here. They're really struggling to score offensively. And there's one play where Trae Young just takes a deep 30-foot bomb and bricks it, and then it goes to Bogdanovic, who the same thing, just pulls it, misses it. And on the other end, we see Julius Randle sort of close out this game a little bit too. And despite Trae Young having 30, I think he was really showing out late in the second quarter. He had a deep three where he could have just attacked the rim. There's literally no one there, and he just takes a deep three and nails it. And honestly, he looked really good. They saw him have this insane reverse layup too against Julius Randle, where he just kind of pops it off the glass. And a lot of this is to do with the fans. The Knicks fans, there was this chant, Trae Young's balding. I don't know if you saw that on Instagram, but they're basically just trying to throw him off, but it just poked the bear, and he finished with the game and was absolutely balling out. I feel like there's this underdog narrative going on with Trae Young right now, where this year, I don't know, he wasn't named an all-star, obviously not going to be an all-NBA, where he's like averaging, I think, 27 points per game for a team that's a 5 seed in the Eastern Conference. So people might be sleeping on Trae Young as an underrated player. I think there's a lot of trash talk going on in this series, as well as Shin Johnson messages in the stream here. This series has a lot of intensity. I think it isn't as much between the players as it is between Trae Young and ball out in these kind of situations. And he really has this F you all mentality right now, and it's awesome to watch. I'm really excited for game 3. I feel like the vets off the bench, Lou Will and Gallinari, didn't play very well. They shot 3 for 16 combined in this game. Whereas like a guy like Kevin Huerter was their best guy off the bench. He had 10 points and was on a mission to really attack the rim in this game. That was sort of his role coming off the bench. And he had one massive one-handed dunk early in this game that really drove some energy into the team and sort of sparked that second quarter run for them. And I think that Trae Young felt like he was sort of single-handedly carrying this team. Bogdanovic was good at times, but he missed a lot of shots in this one. And I think that if the Knicks had lost this, it would have been heartbreaking going down 0-2, going to Atlanta, playing in State Farm Arena. Even though there are a lot of Knicks fans in the area, I think it would have been detrimental for them after having such a great season. So Derrick Rose really came in clutch there. And Randall struggled early in this game. He finished with 15 points on 5 of 16 shooting, but that doesn't really tell the whole story. Played strong in the third quarter and late in the fourth. He started off 0 for 6 in this game, and then he had 11 points in the third, which really rallied them to come back from that 15-point deficit I was talking about earlier. Another guy who played well was Reggie Bullock. He was playing really well. He had 4 timely threes in this game. Canadian RJ Barrett went 5 of 16. Really struggled to finish at the rim in this game. I think the length of Clint Capella and some of the other guys really led them astray in this one, but huge win for the Knicks. Let's move on to the Utah Jazz taking down the Memphis Grizzlies, 141-129. Yeah, that's not a typo. They scored over 3. They scored a lot of points, not over 300, but a ton of points in this game. John Moran alone had 47, which was a franchise record in this game, but it wasn't enough for them to get the win. Ja totaled 71 points in these first 2 games that he's played, which is an NBA record for a guy in his first 2 playoff games, which is insane to think about how good he's played and how he's proving he can become potentially a top 15 player in the NBA in years to come. He's already leading this team next to a guy like Dylan Brooks, who had 23 points on 10 of 14 shooting. He had an amazing game as well. JV was solid with 18 and 6. Kyle Anderson and Jaren Jackson Jr. all played well offensively, but the bench really kind of struck out in this one. Desmond Bane uh, D'Anthony Melton, Grayson Allen, like these guys are okay, but at times I feel like they need a little bit more. Um, Another question in the chat says, "Is the Jazz Grizzlies series more competitive than I expected?" I would say so. I thought the Jazz were gonna sweep this series. I think that no Donovan Mitchell in the first game was huge for the Grizzlies to pull out the win, but this game really showed the strength in numbers that the Jazz had. They had 7 guys scoring double-digit points. You've got, um, Donovan Mitchell at 25. I think Mike Conley had 20 and 15 assists as well. So I think that the Memphis Grizzlies, if they want to continue to compete, they've got to make adjustments in this one. We got to see Taylor Jenkins play. I think Brandon Clark is one guy. Justice Winslow maybe, but Brandon Clark is the guy that he can play two-way. He can help them defensively. They really struggled in the pick and roll against Rudy Gobert. He was getting open dunk after open dunk. Thanks for the love from Brampton. I'm from Milton here. Another message in the chat there, but I think that for this team, the addition of Donovan Mitchell is huge for them, which is why they absolutely wrecked them in game 2, which is part of the reason I did that parlay with the Jazz to win. And I also did the Knicks to win because I felt the Knicks had something to lose today. They were putting it all out there. Similar to the Jazz, you don't want to go down 0-2. They shot nearly 50% from 3 in this game, whereas the Grizzlies couldn't buy a 3. We know they're already a bad 3-point shooting team, but when the Jazz are shooting like this, there's little to no hope for the Memphis Grizzlies unless we see some adjustments made on the defensive end, because I felt offensively both teams could really play on both ends of the floor there. And the stable contributions from the Big Seven in this one in Utah, meaning their starting 5 and Joe Ingles and Jordan Clarkson, was significant for them because that's what Jazz basketball. When all these guys contribute like that, they shoot a ton of threes, and this can be a dangerous team in the playoffs. One last thing that I want to note before I switch this off is that Gobert hit the floor like 6 times in this game, which is insanely hilarious. Like, this guy's just always hitting the floor, always crying a little bit, with JV. Those 2 guys are very physical. I love that matchup. And Gobert literally hit the floor like 6 times. That was pretty funny. But before I get to my 3 picks that I got for you guys, I got 3 bets here. I'm 3-1 on the week. I'm gonna talk Sixers Wizards quickly. Sixers won 120-95. Beal played great, finished with 33 points, but they aren't getting enough contributions from Westbrook. Bertans had 0 points. Ish Smith shot 5 of 14, and their defense sucks. Like, that's just the truth. And they shot 2 of 22 from 3. I think they'll pick it up next game, knowing that it's a must-win game 3 for them. And I think the Sixers, offensively, are getting whatever they want. All the starters played under 30 minutes because this game was over really early. Embiid and Simmons both had 22 points. Harris shot 9 of 13, had 19 and 9. This big 3 is looking good, and their defense is looking great. They had 24 stocks, which is steals and blocks combined. They're not making it easy for Westbrook. They know that he unlocks everything for them, so they're throwing a lot at him, making him be a pass-first guy, and making sure that, these role guys are the guys that beat them. And yeah, that fan should have been banned for sure. 100% should have been. I think he did get banned recently by the chat, the guy who threw popcorn on Russell Westbrook. That's just ridiculous. So disrespectful. All right, let's get to my 3 picks for tonight. So, as you know, I'm 3-1. So today's a little riskier. I went a little risky here. I already put money on all 3 of these bets. So you can ride with me, or you can take a couple of these off. But my expectation tonight for the Heat is to come back and win, because they are the team that's a veteran leadership. They've got Spoelstra. They're going to make adjustments. Jimmy and Bam have been playing bad. The home crowd turn is going to really help them to build some momentum, and I think they're going to try and change things up defensively and really build a wall. I'm concerned Giannis is getting whatever he wants in this series. Maybe they're going to start putting Jimmy Butler on him and walling him up with Bam Adebayo, and maybe going a little bigger tonight to try and match their rebounding. So my expectation, number 1, is the Heat to win this game. So I got the Heat money line, and also under 225 points. I think that if they're going to win, it's going to be a grimy game. They're going to make them play defense. They're going to slow down the pace. So that's why I'm taking the under 225. That's plus 216. So if you bet $100, you're going to win 216 on this bet. I wouldn't recommend betting $100. That's a lot of money, but The other one I have is two MLs, so two money lines. Lakers and Blazers both to win, plus 111. Let's be real, the Lakers are playing a team with the Phoenix Suns, in which Chris Paul is looking like he's not going to be healthy enough to compete in the next few games, at least. Lakers are at home. LeBron's first game in front of Laker fans. LeBron is looking healthy. AD is looking healthy. They do not have an answer for Anthony Davis and Drummond at the 4 and 5 respectively. So I think that's a lock. You can lock that win in for the Lakers. Um, as for the Blazers, I think they'll probably win this game. That one I'm not 100% sure about, but I have confidence that they're going to come back. They're going to make adjustments on how they can contain Jokic, because he's had over 35 in both these games, I'm pretty sure. They've got to start throwing doubles. Nurkic can't contain him. He fouled out last game. I think they're going to throw doubles and make Campazzo and Austin Rivers beat them. So my expectation is that the Nuggets are going to go cold tonight. They're not going to get the shooting that they want. And on the other side, we know that the Blazers can play good offense. And my third free pick, I'm giving you all three of my picks today. This one also goes back to the Heat game. I have Butler over 24.5 points, parlayed with Butler over 7.5 rebounds. I think that's going to be an easy one for him. I think he's going to score 25 plus. I think he's going to have a solid 8 to 10 rebound game. And I think this one's plus 200 too. So you're 2-1. That's one you can skip out if you want, but I think he's going to have a big comeback game. That sort of goes in conjunction with my other pick, where if they're going to win, Jimmy Butler's going to have to play huge for them. But that's it for me. Thank you guys for listening as usual. Hopefully we're 6-1 after tomorrow. Maybe we won't be. Maybe we will. I think those are some good bets. Some people just joining in the chat. Rewatch this so you can see my picks, my parlays, and win some money with me. And Ashin Johnson says he'll be at Staples tonight. The energy is going to be electric there. Hope you have a great time. Thank you guys for listening as usual. If you haven't already, subscribe, comment, share this with your friends. I'd really appreciate it. Peace out.